back to Anvil Airsoft TV, the channel where we focus on facts and not fiction. I'm your host, Tom Anvil Hibberd. In this episode, we're going to be looking at and range testing the C-TECH L119A2 conversion kit for the GBLS Dynamic Action System. This is a replica of the famous UKSF service carbine. Now, we've covered the GBLS DAS system several times on the channel over the last few years, and each time we've enjoyed spending time with them. If you want to see those videos, there's links in the description for you. This time, however, we've been sent a built-up version of the C-TECH L119A2 kit by UK-based the Cage Airsoft. Now, full disclosure, the Cage Airsoft are covering the costs of producing this review. However, our work will remain fully independent. The replica has been provided on a testing and evaluation basis and will be going back to the Cage. So what's in the kit? There are two versions of the kit available. They are largely both the same, but one comes without the lower receiver. If you don't want to go to the trouble of swapping your gearbox over from an existing GBLS DAS. The lower receiver version has a set of engraved trades and markings, so it's well worth the upgrade, in my opinion. If you want a replica this authentic, then you may as well go the whole hog. The kit is made mostly from CNC aluminium with some steel parts. Both the kits don't come with a stock or pistol grip. UKSF use a variety on their real rifles, but the L119A2 comes issued with the Magpul CTR stock and the ergo grip as shown in this build. Included in the full kit are the receivers, CNC machine from 6061 aluminium billet, the mag release, the fire selector, ejection port cover, the charging handle, a new outer barrel, gas block, gas tube and the flash hider complete the front end. So let's have a look at the features of the L119A2 kit, and we'll go tip to butt as usual. Starting with a flash hider, find a steel replica of the Surefire FH556-216A. It's a very nice machine, including the ridges on the inside of the three prongs. If you remove it in a clockwise direction, you can find a standard 14mm CCW thread. The gas block includes a removable screw, which in the real version allows easy access to the gas tube for cleaning. The gas block on the L119A2 is taller than normal to allow the gas tube to have a straight run into the receiver without the standard kink. The kit also includes a new heavy profile outer barrel. The L119A2 CQB uses a 10-inch barrel, which is shorter than the 10.5 or 10.3 inch barrels common on the US Mark 18s or CQBRs. Of course, the star of the show is the monolithic upper CNC machined from one piece of 6061 aluminium. Unlike many AR carbines, the upper receiver and handguard of the L119A2 are combined and made from the same piece of metal. This makes for a very stiff platform for mounting optics and lasers. This is also an expensive process to do well. The Colt Canada markings are raised as in the real rifle, and again this is a lot more work than engraving, but is much more authentic. The upper includes the extra rail slot and chamfered cuts and has the steel reinforced insert for the charging handle latch. This stops the steel latch wearing the upper in use. Really good to see this being added and shows great attention to detail. And at the front, the plethora of holes to allow access to the gas block are also present. Just like most of the real ones, the centre sections of the side Picatinny rails have been machined away to create a smaller grip circumference and lighter front weight. Full length rails are present on the top and bottom. In practice, most people don't use the centre of the side rails for mounting accessories anyway. On many of the real L119A2s, the serial number has been engraved onto the upper by the Camp Armoury. Sometimes there's two uppers per lower, one a shorty like this one and one longer barrel, and it's a good way of tracking which ones belong to which. You could always have this added yourself by a third-party engineering company. On the other side, you can see the NATO and square forge markings. The dust cover posts are reinforced like the real ones, and here you can really see the differences with this monolithic upper compared to the usual two-part upper and forend like I used on my own GHK build. There are a few laser engraved markings like the rail positions and NSN numbers missing from the kit that are present on other manufacturers' models. Most of you will probably just spray paint it over as soon as you get it anyway. We can see the Colt Canada trademarks, L119A2 designation and 556 markings and a serial number. Serial number isn't unique. Colt Canada style ambidextrous magazine release is supplied with the kit that can be operated from both sides. There are a few types of available magazine. For the GBLS DAS, we're using the metal GI Stanag type with a 60 BB capacity. I normally load to 30, which would be the real capacity. There's also a variable capacity polymer magazine from GBLS, and PTS also do a compatible 30/120 EPM. The metal GI mags we've been using are the closest to the real thing, however, if that bothers you. It bothers me. The fire selector is marked S, R and Auto, which stands for safe, repetition and automatic, than the normal safe semi-auto markings. This is correct for this model. On the other side, we have the same markings and also a mock ambi fire selector. However, it is a mock lever that doesn't move. This isn't possible with this iteration of the GBLS DAS gearbox. However, it's great that it's been added, and most of the time people won't be able to see it anyway when you're holding it. The NSN number is missing from the right hand side of the magwell. Again, if this matters to you, you can have it added later. The charging handle has the correct extended ambi latch installed. In use, some of the operators cut these down to avoid catching it on gear and taking the bolt carrier out of battery. In this case, that's up to you. You can go at it with a Dremel like the real guys do. At the back, the kit uses the standard model castle nut. Colt Canada themselves use the older receiver extension nut on the L119A2. Aftermarket versions of this nut are available. As a result of the nut, the threaded portion on the receiver extension tube is shorter on Colt Canada ARs, and there's a turn down portion behind the threading. This would be very difficult to replicate on GBLS DAS, as the wiring for the battery runs on the outside of the tube under this housing. So I can understand why they've chosen not to do that. There is a standard receiver end plate. The rear ones were issued with the Magpul ASAP. You could put a real one on, or the PTS clone if you can find one. The stock pistol grip and Magpul AFG on this built-up kit were supplied by the Cage Airsoft and aren't included. The Reptile House blog, however, has some great articles on the L119A2, so be able to choose your own. However, it's worth checking with the Cage before you buy a pistol grip, as some need modification before they can be fitted. It also uses a mil-spec buffer, so there are loads of compatible stocks. Overall, the C-TECH L119A2 is very nicely made, pretty accurate to the real item, and has extremely high build quality. The surface coating is anodised, is tough, and is resisting wear really well. I don't have a problem with my replicas getting marked, but it's a bonus to have a tough exterior right from the start. Welcome back to Thurlestone Airgun and Archery Centre, where we're going to be range testing the L119A2. As normal, to do that, we're going to be using our electronic attack sense targets that flash when they're struck by a BB, so you can see and I can see when I've hit the target. Today, our targets are going to be at 20, 30, 40, 50 and 60 metres, and we're going to be using a .32 BLS Precision BB. Let's get going. We've already done our max range test. We've got about 60 metres using a .32 gram BLS BB. It's quite cold today, so the hop's not performing as it might do, so we can't really use heavier ammo, but it's 3-4 degrees, so that's just what we're going to use. Okay, so let's get shooting. 20 metre target, let's get going. Easy peasy, no problems at all. Let's move on to the 30. Ten out of 10, doing well. Let's move on to the 40. Fresh mag for the 40, let's get going. Oh. Ooh, definitely effective at 40 metres. Let's see what the 50 metres has for us. So my current hold is one target high, slightly off to the left to account for the very light breeze we've got today. Okay, so that's the end of our run. It's just about effective at 50 metres, but I'm having to use a fair amount of holdover.
So for instance, if I was aiming at your torso, I'd be hitting you in the knees in an airsoft game. So at that point, that's really the end of our effective range. We're having to aim so much higher than the target. We're starting to have to lob them in. And if we take the target out any further, we're doing quite a ballistic arc. So max range, 60 meters, effective range. Let's go for 50.
If we go back to my last long-term look at the GBLS DAS, I talked about how I felt that the system was suited to a user that only really wanted one or two really nice replicas that offered the best possible experience. Well, my opinion hasn't changed, and to be quite honest, if I was still doing my UKSF impression, I'd be very interested in picking one up. On the range, it's had one of the best and fastest runs through our course that we've ever seen. The GBLS DAS system has performed well historically on the channel too, so it's just not a one-off result. I do love my own GHK based 119A2 build and the Archwick OEM version, but GBBRs can still be a pain in the UK if you want to play all year round, or if you want to run games with a higher BB count. The GBLS DAS system offers a fascinating hybrid between AEGs and GBBRs, which for many people will be an ideal compromise. Yes, there is a requisite cost to having a product of this quality. The upper only kit is £1,000 and the full kit is £1,200, plus you will need a donor GBLS DAS. You may also need to spring for the specific furniture that you want. The Cage can offer a complete build for you, so if you want to do that, get in touch with them. If you think that's too much for your hobby, then this isn't the product for you. I ride nice carbon fibre road bikes, and it seems entirely reasonable to me to invest in your hobby, especially if you've already invested thousands in the rest of your kit. In addition, all of the monolithic upper L119A2s are comparatively expensive to conventional AR carbines by their very nature. Using quality materials on a 5-axis CNC machine is an expensive process, and the kit is competitively priced against those other products. So, if you want an excellent, accurate UKSF carbine that you can use all year round, take a look at the C-TECH L119A2 conversion kit supplied by the Cage Airsoft. I've been Anvil Hibberd for Aatv. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.